Yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the
Sadly Relatable podcast.
We're back, baby.
Yay, yay. Sorry. We needed something special because we haven't filmed in so long.
Listen, this is actually messed up. Guys, it's the 100th episode and we're sitting here like a plain, ordinary day.
It's okay.
Do you know what? The celebration is that we're back.
So,
woo!
Yay, yay. How is everyone? Oh, it feels good to be back.
It does.
Like, I'll just comfort zone
I
right
feel a bit
here.
rustic though.
You mean rusty?
Yeah, but rustic still works as well.
Does it? I don't think
know.
it does. Yeah, like, what do we do?
Wait, Nisrin, 100 episodes of Sadly Relatable.
100 episodes. We do have some exciting things in the works, and
We say this every time, man.
Nah, but to be fair, this
one feels serious.
Yeah,
the last one felt serious as well. Like, guys, we've actually missed you lot so much, wallah. Things keep happening, man.
Yeah, so we had plans for this episode. We actually had like 2 or 3 different plans.
Yeah.
And they kind of just fell through, and we were like...
And then what's annoying about it is each one took like a while to plan and then it fell through, meaning that we stayed off longer, and then the next one took a while to plan and it fell through.
But it's okay. We won't say what they were because we can still do it one day, inshallah. Yeah. But we are in the middle of like doing a few other things. So it's like, I feel like that time as well was needed because we've like got some plans. And
we got to like work on things on the back end of stuff, which is really good. Oh man, I do.
And then we got ill, and then I got unwell. I got the flu, and then, but you know what?
Do you know what it is? Can I say something? Yeah, I think we relied. Do you know why? Because every time we have like we hit a milestone, something happens.
Yeah.
For the 100th episode, and then hitting 2 years, like and then the new year, oh, it's a headache.
Yeah, but you know what? We do our adkar, so if you're gonna give us evil eye, it's gonna bounce back onto you.
So pray for us, everyone.
Inshallah. How is everyone? You know what? I find it so cute that people are like, "Where's the podcast? Like, it gets me through my week." Yeah. I'm just like.
And there's people actually waiting for us to come back, which is nice.
I know.
It's not like we're just trying to come back and everyone's like, oh, who are these guys again?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to lie. Like, I love just sitting here and just talking shit.
Is it kind of sad that, like, I haven't really seen you?
I know. To be fair, guys, we actually have... This is like, the first time I've seen you in, like, a month.
So, like, what's sad is that the podcast is what kind of brought us together to see each other in person. Otherwise, we'd just be living our lives.
If we didn't work together, we just would never speak.
We'd be like phone calls.
Now, to be fair, we speak a lot on the phone.
Yeah, we just don't see each other in person.
Because I just do ignore you sometimes.
Yeah, you don't... Nisrin, you're so annoying, man.
Why are you judging me for something that is out of my control?
Do you know how I know Nisrin's okay? So, this is what's worse about you, yeah? Can I say something? You are the worst type of person to not answer your phone because you're unwell. Like, and you live on your own. So we need to know that you're alive and that you're okay.
Okay, so my mum does this, right, where she keeps calling me, and she'll call me and I'll get like 100 missed calls. And I'm like, Mum, why? And she's like, oh, what if something happened to you? Like, okay, but if I died, what is going to change if you call me?
No.
I'm going to be dead anyway.
But we still need to know that you're okay.
You'll find out eventually.
No, but who just sits and waits? So I'll just find out if she's dead. We need to know so your body doesn't rot and we can like get you buried as soon as possible.
Maybe like 2 days.
No, Nisrin, you don't answer for time. But it's okay. I have a new way of figuring out whether you're okay or not.
Yeah.
Because I'll be calling Nisrin like 5 times, no answer. Text her, you okay? Let me know everything's all right. And then I'll go check TikTok and she would have sent me like 5 TikToks. And I'm like, okay, she's alive. She's just airing me because she's on her phone watching TikToks.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what happens is I'm like, oh, I can't reply to that right now, I'll reply in a minute. And then I just forget to. And then also sometimes I'll just put my phone down and I won't touch it for a few hours. And that's like where I get my peace, if that makes sense.
I've been doing that a lot recently.
It feels good.
Actually, that's a lie. I've done it like once or twice. I've been doing that a lot because I know my wife's probably watching this thinking you lying piece of shit.
Wow, if he wasn't married, he would not have admitted that.
But I've done it a few times because I feel like obviously recently I've just been a bit all over the place mentally. So those days where I was like, oh, I just can't even look at this crap anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's draining me. I was like, just put this away. And then, like, I felt really good. I can't lie.
Oh, also, how's painting? Okay, guys, so I've taken up a new hobby, right? Mm-hmm. Painting. And when I tell you, it is the most stress-free that I have felt in a very, very long time. Like, I'll be painting, AYOUB, and 6 hours will go past. I'm not joking. 6 hours, and I haven't touched my phone.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this painting for 6 hours. I'm like, oh, it's only like an hour. I check 6 hours.
I can't lie to you. I think having these little things in life are one of the most important things you can do. For anyone that's struggling with mental health, or they stress out, or they overthink, you need to find something that can take you away from your thoughts for a while. obviously Nisrin also sent me the pen. Can't speak, man. It's been so long. Anyway,
you speak every day.
I know.
He said it's been so long.
As if I haven't spoken since we haven't posted the podcast.
So what he's trying to say is I got myself a kit and then I got him a kit because when I realized how much it's like amazing, I got him one. And basically painting is, but this thing is that you hear this stuff when you're younger, like, paint, go for a walk, and you're like, shut up.
No, but the thing is, I'm trying to explain is this, which is very true, is it does help. And I did my first paint and then I was enjoying it. I was sitting there like painting, enjoying myself, and you're not thinking about anything else. You're so focused on what you're doing. But one of my other things that I experienced that in is boxing. So when I go boxing, it's the only time that I realize after a while, like I go in there, I don't think about nothing. Literally, the world could be on fire. I'm so focused on learning what I'm learning and training and what's going on. And I realized that was the reason why when I go to box, I lose all my anxiety is because I go in there and like empty my mind.
That's all you're thinking about.
Yeah, and you're focused on one thing. So it's similar with the painting thing. When you take a moment and you're trying to achieve a task, that's relaxing, by the way, and it's enjoyable, you're not stressed.
I'm not joking, yeah. When you say you don't think of anything else, you genuinely do not think of any life worries, life stresses. Like, I'm there, got more important shit to do. I have work to do, and I'm just like,
Michelle's house is on fire. Everyone's jumping out of the building. It's like, she's like,
I'm like, I need to mix these colors to get this and get this. Honestly, guys, I really, really, really recommend painting.
Yeah.
I will leave a link to the paint kit that I got. It basically has everything that you need in it, and like it has like a little board.
It's really cool. I can't lie, because I thought, she's gonna send me like some little paints and a thing, but it came and it's got like the whole. You stand it up. You got the canvas. You got a book. You got every single type of thing you need. Like it was like the whole thing. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's from Amazon and it came like the next day, but it's like so good, and I really, really recommend it to every single person I know.
Guys, I think it's really important to stimulate yourself as an adult or a young adult. Even if you're younger, to be honest, because I feel like we don't really try new things nowadays. You grow older and you don't really try new things like when you were a kid. You know, when you're in school, when they give you different tasks to do, you don't really do it. But when you get older, you sometimes fall into comfort of doing what you know. You need to start challenging yourself. I think that's the way you grow as well mentally, and it just helps you in every aspect.
And find yourself. Like there's all of you guys watching this right now, imagine how many hidden talents of actual painters and artists there are. You never know, like you lot could try it and figure out that you're actually really good at it. And even if you're not good at it, it might be something that you like learn to be amazing at. Like me personally, it's kind of difficult, but I feel like I'm good at it. And I don't know, I feel like I could improve.
You're way better than I expected. You're like, here are mine. And I was like, what? Look back at mine, because I'm the one that grew up like the artist. So I looked at mine and I looked at Nisha and I'm like, something ain't adding up here. Allahumma they're good. Now I know when you said you spent 6 hours on it, mine took me like 20 minutes. I'm joking, by the way.
Hater alert.
But
evil eye alert.
No, Allahumma one of the things I do believe in, which is I'm so happy that you brought that up because it like relates to it, is a lot of people, I have conversations with people like, oh, what do you want to do in life? And they're not happy where they are. Like a lot of people my age. So I have some friends at my age, they're around 27 in life and they're doing a job, but they haven't got something they're chasing, or they want to chase something, but they don't know what, or they want to leave their current field. And I said to them, why don't you like try start a business or try do something in stuff that you enjoy? But I don't really enjoy or have a passion. I'm
you need to try it.
Have you tried anything? They're like, but I don't think I like that. I think it annoys me so much because they're lost and they want something. But you haven't tried everything. You haven't done all these little hobbies or found a way. Like, pick the most random thing. Go, like, I don't know.
Horse riding.
Yeah, something like that. Just find something.
Go to space.
Literally.
Join NASA.
Butterfly catching. You know, they do in SpongeBob when you go to jellyfish catching. Just things like that. I don't think that's humane. Is that going and catching fish?
Oh, yeah. No, I think if you let them free, go maybe. Fishing.
Just like these little things. You have to try different hobbies in life. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in a loop and you're going to be bored and every day is going to feel the same.
Yeah, and just like enjoy life. One thing I have realized is take those times, no matter what it is, to really just relax and not care about anything, because those are the times that are going to help you more in the times that you are doing work and you are focusing on your career and life. Do you get it?
Yeah.
They're just as important as the hard work you're putting into achieving what you want to achieve.
Yeah, you said that to me recently actually, because I went on a good like 3-month stretch of like working the hardest like every single day, like doing so much and like my mind being active every single day, and then I've been on a bit of I've burned out.
Yeah, it's burnout.
And I've like not been doing as much, and then I go even more into a pit of like stress because I'm like, oh, I'm not being productive as I was, and then I'm just not I'm just stressing and not getting anything done.
Yeah, yeah.
And you said that sometimes it's good in that day where you're not getting anything done because you're stressing anyway. Just say, okay, today is a do nothing day.
That's one
And
thing
let your
I've
mind
learned.
relax.
I've really learned that is the days, and especially if you have ADHD, because that's something that we struggle with a lot. You're there and you're like, I have so much to do, but I physically can't do it. And then just accept it. Just be like, okay, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, but you've been doing that for a bit too long now. It's meant to be like a day or two, and this has been on that for 3 months.
I would say do it for like once a week. I'm not going to lie, but it really does help you guys. And I know we've got a lot of younger audiences, and I remember when I was younger, I would be like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, we wouldn't take this advice seriously, but I would say learn from our mistakes, guys, because then you can get to our point and not be stressing. Funny thing, right? You know how you just said you're 27? Okay, so the other day I was on the phone to someone and I was with Joadia, and then they were speaking to Joadia because they've never spoke to her. They were like, oh, how old are you? And she was like, oh, I'm 26. And then I swear to you, for about 30 seconds to a minute, I looked at her, I was like, why are you lying? You're not 26. Like in my head, because I know me and her are the same age. I was like, why are you lying? I actually said it out loud. She was like, are you all right? I was like, you're not 26. And she was like, I don't know about you, but I'm 26. And I was like, I swear for 30 seconds to a minute, I was like, why is she? And then it hit me that we're 26. Because in my head, I feel like 23, 24. Yeah. And even when the person on the phone said, yeah, I'm 27, I was thinking, damn, he's old. Like, and then.
Whoa, relax.
Yeah, no, I was thinking, damn, he's old. And then I realized he's like a year older than me.
Yeah.
By the way, just to let you know, guys, because it sounds booky because I said he, it was just a friend that I hadn't spoken to in 5 years, wallah, and then.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Even though I don't need to explain myself to anyone. Anyway, do you not think it's mad? Like, 27?
I know, Nisrin. But do you know, I'm about to say I've accepted it, but I'm just here because...
Getting older is an achievement.
Yeah, I'm not actually bad because I'm married now.
Allahumma
I'm
barik.
like, I could turn 50, who cares?
Yeah, Allahumma barik. Allah protect you guys.
Barik.
Thanks for all the 26, 27-year-olds that aren't married now. We're stressing.
Yeah, you lot on your ones. Good luck.
Ayo.
Nah, inshallah, you will find that.
He's joking, by the way.
Obviously, they know I'm joking.
Not everyone. I've realised that some people on the internet, AYOUB, are crazy. Because you say something and they believe everything you say.
Well, guys, like, if you are that type of person...
There's me thinking that you were going to be like, no, it was a joke. Like, I was just joking.
Oh, no, I'm done. I'm not actually... I'm done. There's nothing I need to apologise for anyway. But I'm just done with the whole, like... really tiptoeing, like just say what we want to say.
I'm not gonna lie, one thing I have learnt, and that's why I'm grateful for the past year of my life, is I've learnt people who want to complain or don't like you are gonna find bad in everything you do, even if it's good. I learnt recently a situation happened where I literally just done good and they found it. So now I'm like, oh, fuck everyone then. I'm gonna do what I want. Like, I genuinely don't care.
Like, I know myself, I'm not someone who's rude anyway or says like bad stuff to people anyway, so I'm not gonna tiptoe around thinking a little bit of opinion that could accidentally... Oh, fuck off, man. Who cares?
Yeah, astaghfirullah. Why did you just swear?
Sorry, yeah. That's my alarm telling me.
Telling you to shut up. Yeah. I never hear you swear. It's very weird that I
Yeah, I'm not actually... It's a bit weird because we grew up like in our house. You're such a rebel. Look at me.
He goes, you're such a rebel, you swear.
It's a goody two-shoes.
The golden child.
Nah, stop saying that. Anyway, what happened was we weren't allowed to swear at home, obviously. So I don't know if you guys have got this, but for some reason, it's now trained in my brain when I started swearing. As soon as I walk into my mother's house and I'm around anyone older than me, I don't even have to try. It just doesn't come out. Yeah. I will not swear. But I'm around my mates, I'm throwing it left, right, centre, like joking around. But for some reason at home, it just automatically, I don't swear. And then Nisrin just comes home, she came out the womb.
Fucking hell, it's bright out here.
Gosh. I want to go back to bed.
No, but that's because like I don't really do well with authority or rules. So if you tell me not to do something, I'm just gonna do the complete opposite.
Before I understood you and like the stuff that you go through, I would have heard that and feel like, oh,
shut up.
Bullshit, man. Shut up. You just finding, I don't know, you're just one of them idiots that doesn't want to do anything.
AYOUB's truth, like what he really thinks about me is coming out.
I'm saying this before I understood that you literally have like certain things that you deal with that cause you to feel like that, and you've been through certain traumas that have caused you to have those feelings. But before, I used to just think, it's like them people that go, you know, they're in relationships and I'm like, I'm just flirtatious.
Yeah.
Shut up. No, you're not. You just said it was scumbag who wants to cheat on everyone. Do you know what I mean? It's like that vibe.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, but I've learned that a lot of stuff comes from childhood. So I'd love to deep dive.
Yeah, even that comes from probably childhood trauma.
What? Flirting when you're in a relationship?
Yeah, seeking a male validation.
Oh yeah. But why are you talking about men? Why are you saying women? What if it's the men that are just flirtatious?
Maybe they're gay.
Or seeking female validation?
Yeah, same.
You got yourself out of that one.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, but I was gonna say something. You made me forget. So tell us a bit of life update in the last.
Nothing, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been like 4 months since I got married, and it feels like 2 weeks.
Allahumma barik.
Allahumma barik. But it's just gone so quick. Like, it's weird.
How
But
is
alhamdulillah.
Would you recommend it out of 10? He has to say 10, obviously.
Bro, it's better than 10. It's just so sick.
Ayub, I said this, right? And you were very shocked because after I got divorced, you were like, wow, do you remember when you looked at me? One of our friends was getting married and he looked at me because I gave her some advice and he was like, for someone that's been divorced, like, you really are positive
you're
about marriage.
like, saying how good it was, and I was like, really? After what I saw, no, I'm joking. But I was just shocked that you were so positive after like what things happened and stuff like that, which is good to see, and it gave me a lot of hope as well, actually, you saying that stuff.
Yeah, because I can see and understand that where things went wrong, but I can also still see the good parts.
Yeah.
And not gonna lie, marriage is the sort of thing where you wake up happy. Like, have you got this where you wake up and you realize like your partner is next to you and you're like, oh, I'm happy now.
There's I don't know how to explain it. So there's been times, for me, I noticed a really big shift in, like, I never used to be able to sleep. You know, when I lived at home.
Yeah.
And I think I had a lot of anxieties because I was always worried about everyone else in the house. And like, we've been through a lot of trauma and a lot of stuff. And I was so used to like waking up when I was younger to like arguing or shouting in the house that it literally caused a trauma in me that some of you might deal with as well. But I would literally be in my room, everyone's asleep, and in my head, I can hear downstairs, and I jump up and I well, like literally at least twice a week, I'd probably run to the top of my stairs and like go to listen, and everyone would just be. I walk downstairs and my mum would just be chilling, everyone's chilling, and in my head, I thought I get anxiety and think everyone's going off again.
So sad.
And sometimes even in the shower, I'll be in the shower and I feel like I can hear everyone arguing. I'm like, I try to finish up quick, and then I get out and then no one's doing anything.
Hey, that's like PTSD.
No, it is.
Have you spoke to like someone about that?
This is my first time kind of like speaking about it.
Yeah,
properly.
I've never heard you say that. That's like...
Yeah, it did affect me a lot. And I felt like I would always like sleep, but I could never fully sleep because I was always on edge thinking, I'm going to wake up to like stress or something. Because a lot of the stuff that we'd go through for some reason would always happen at 3 a.m. Because our whole family's night owls. It was never like an argument in the middle of the day. No, it was always had to be like 4 a.m. to wake up like, oh shit, something's happening.
Yeah, that's true. And I think like growing up, because we did like go through, trigger warning, like witness domestic violence quite badly and severely in the early parts of our childhood, and even like we lived in hostels and women's refuges, and we went through a bit of a madness, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think maybe you might get flashbacks of that, and that's what it was.
Yeah, so I was always like, so my sleep was always a thing. I used to always tell people I'm not the type of person that can sleep. Like, I can't fall asleep and do this. Like, I struggle. I got married, and my wife, because obviously she only knows me for living with her, so she's always like, oh, Abe just falls asleep so quick, and I'm always just struggling to fall asleep, and I'm like, you don't even know that. Like, I was never like that. Yeah. Now I go to bed and I just knock out. And
yeah, because now he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not there anymore. Whatever's happening.
No, I'm still there. I'm joking. But I'm saying in the sense of I'm in a space now where that stuff is not happening. So I can fully rest. My mind just shuts off and I sleep. If that makes sense.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that you're...
That feels weird to open up about, but...
No, that was nice. Nice. It's nice to know you're suffering as well. No, I'm joking. It was nice that you, like, opened up about that, because that's, like, really sad.
Yeah.
That sounds like PTSD. I don't want to diagnose you in it, but that sounds like a bit of PTSD. Me and you are very different. So we're siblings. We're very close in age. We went through the same things, basically.
But both had, like...
But we dealt with it differently. So with me, I completely block out all of my memories and push them to the back of my head until like it affects me in other aspects, whereas you remember everything. It comes to you, and like, do you know what I mean? So it's so interesting to see how we're so close, like we were basically twins, but we deal with things so differently.
That is quite scary. And like, it's weird to like bring stuff up to you and you just be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I'm like, I don't remember.
And I think that's what kind of also caused me and mum to be quite close, is because it's almost like I was there and you were still kind of young, even though you're only a year younger. I don't have to explain it. And we both have the same memories. We can sit and talk about these things because what she went through, I was there witnessing it and I can remember it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit, I don't know, man.
I feel like it's good to open up and talk about these things, because a lot of people, and because we do have a younger audience, we might even have people now that are watching us that are like, that's happening in my home.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I could say to you guys is just understand that not everything you see is like real. Do you get it? You might see a family and be like, oh, but they're so happy and they don't have issues. I'll be real with you. I don't really know any family that doesn't have certain issues. Obviously, people's issues are all different levels of extreme. I mean, not extreme, like some are extreme and some aren't. But like, if you are younger and you're thinking, why me? It's very, very normal.
That's how I grew up, you know. I used to always, that's why I hardly ever invited friends around. I used to always think we were the only ones that like had issues. I was scared to like bring a friend around and then like something would happen.
Obviously, there is some people that don't.
Yeah, yeah. But
where are they?
It's kind of crazy to me. I was kind of growing up like that and feeling a bit just embarrassed for friends to come in and friends to see things. And then it wasn't until like I grew up and realized everyone's got issues. Like, I used to go and I'd see my friends having issues. And I don't know, it sounds really bad. It sounds so bad because I care for them and want them to be good. But it used to make me happy knowing that I wasn't the only one. So I used to be like, oh, I'm not the only one that's got these type of issues.
Preying on his downfall with his friends.
Oh, your parents got divorced. Yes. Nah, I'm joking, stuff a lot.
Oh, your dad hits your mom. Oh, not the only one. That's so deep. No, but I know what you mean. Because it's comforting.
It humanizes everyone and makes everyone, I feel like I fit in now.
Yeah, it's comforting to know that you ain't the only messed up one.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's why I speak about the things I do and I'm so open. Like, a lot of people say to me, like, why did you speak about that? Why? I'm like, because if one person can sit and think, oh, yes, at least I'm not the only one, and I've made them feel that feeling, then I'm done. Yeah. And I will suffer the consequences of embarrassing myself online for that one person. Yeah. But yeah, so, guys. I
actually wanted to speak to you about something, though.
Go for it.
Because I have noticed you and building like a relationship with God recently, which has been really like inspirational to watch as well. Like,
really? I don't think I've changed.
I don't know. I think I'm seeing more of it. Maybe it's because you're wearing a headscarf now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, she is a Muslim. Before I was always questioning. No, I'm joking.
Wow. No, I don't think.
No, you've always spoke about it. But for example, like.
What?
No.
Because you always pretend, like, said you're going to do these things. But behind the scenes, you ain't done it.
No, I'm talking about, for example.
Just say it.
I've never seen you pray in a studio.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so these little steps, I'm like, oh, I've never seen her like pray. I've seen her obviously pray. I know you pray.
You know that I've prayed every single day for like the past 2 weeks. And I'm joking. For the past like
I know you
3
pray.
years.
No, I know you
4
pray.
years.
But I'm saying even just seeing stuff like that, because I don't see it that much. I don't live with you. Do you know what I mean?
Do you want to know what it is? Before, I was struggling in the sense where, and I'm not going to lie, not to expose sins, it's more to like explain to you guys that it's okay. I've always struggled with praying on time. So what would happen is, because I was so overwhelmed, when I'm out, I don't really think about prayer. But when I go home, that's when I deal with it and worry about it. But now, like, I've learned to kind of, I've understood that Allah's like doesn't hate me for it, because he's given me a struggle, which is ADHD and things like that. So why would he hate me when I'm like physically struggling, as long as I try my best? Yeah. And I realized that fitting in, like making sure I don't go to the toilet, because when you wear makeup, you can't do wudu. So like making sure I keep my wudu and just praying asr, then go to the toilet after, like these small little steps is what I'm trying to do.
Okay, so and I've noticed those little things.
Oh, cute.
Okay, which I think is nice. I remember talking to someone, and I always bring this up. I'm someone that whenever I'm chilling around like friends or like I am introduced to new people, I will always ask them what their beliefs are and if they believe in God and stuff like that. And I come across a lot of people sometimes that don't believe in God, and they're like, oh, and I talk to them about the universe and how things are created, and like, oh, well, God, who created it? Was the Big Bang? Was it this evolution? All this different stuff. And one of the things that I got quite a lot was always, but if God created us, then who created God? Yeah. And I came across this great analogy and example of how it works. So if anyone's ever got like wondering, how does that work? If God created us, then who created him? Firstly, God isn't bound by like the physics and the rules of this world. So rules of this world, say the world's here, he's outside of that.
Yeah, which our brains can't comprehend.
Yeah, our brains can't comprehend. So time, having to be like born from someone and someone
made
creating
from
you,
something,
which is a rule that exists in our universe. Everything's created this because someone else created it.
Yeah.
But he's not in them rules. He created the rules.
Yeah.
Secondly, if we're looking at our rules and we want to judge it like that, there's this thing called infinite regression. Because then you would always just go back to who created that person, who created that person. But the way that works is, if you look at this analogy in this example, say there's a sniper on top of a building, yeah, and he's about to shoot at his target. But before he takes a shot, he has to ask the person, his commander, can I take the shot? But then his commander has to ask his commander, can I take the shot? And then that has to keep going on. They keep asking the next person, can I take the shot? But that's an infinite regression. It will just go on infinitely, meaning he'll never take the shot.
Yeah.
So if Allah had to be created, he would have never made us.
And because the person would have had to create him.
And then it would just keep going back.
Allah.
So it would never, so that person will never take the shot because it has to keep going back to, oh, can I take the shot? And it's an infinite regression, basically.
Yeah, and that's a really good analogy that you just put it there. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna say, actually, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Muslim, obviously. I was born into it, alhamdulillah. Like, I was taught about it. I did teach myself a lot of it, and the things that I do now and the love that I have for it, I feel like I had to teach myself, if that makes sense. I mean, I was taught it growing up, but I mean,
you have to go through that journey.
I had to fall in love with it myself. But I feel like if I wasn't a Muslim and someone spoke to me about religion, I genuinely would be like, because when I see like astrology and things like that, and obviously believe what you want to believe. Like, personally, I don't agree with it. It's against my religion and we don't agree with it. But when I see people talking about like astrology and like
star signs,
like just things like that, I'm kind of just like, huh? And I'm just like, I don't care about it, but I just think whatever. And I feel like that's how people think about like religion, which makes sense, because unless you like have it in your heart, or obviously God chooses to put it in your heart, you might look at religion and be like,
nah, but that's the beautiful thing about Islam, because it's all about logic as well. We're not a religion that's based off feelings and emotion. Oh my God, I feel amazing when I think of it. Although it can be, and that's how a lot of people work. They feel connected to the religion and all that stuff. It's all about logic and using your brain. It challenges us to actually like look at the evidence. What is there? And my belief solely is dependent and is 100% down to the fact that I believe that the Quran itself couldn't have come from anyone other than God. So that's what I tell people when they ask me, what do you believe in? I've looked at the evidence, I've researched the sources, I've looked at the story of the Prophet, peace be upon him, how it came about, what's actually in the Quran, how it's been made, how no one else can compare to it, and it hasn't been even, it hasn't been changed since it was created, and we have this long line of history of proving all these different things, and all the miracles within it that's predicted and all these different stuff. To me, I'm so convinced that comes from God, that's my main reason I believe in
there's a
Islam.
lot of evidence, and
I believe in it so much that it comes from God, that if it's told me every Tuesday I have to headbutt the wall, I would do it, because in my head I'm 100% this is from God. Luckily for me, it just says everything that's beautiful for me. Do you know what I mean?
I've realized as well, and this is one thing that kind of made me get closer, was every single thing that I questioned had an answer for it. Like, everything that you look into, whether that be in why men are allowed 4 wives, whether that be in like why women can't pluck their eyebrow, every single thing that we're not allowed to do that is haram or halal has a reasoning that makes sense. Like, it does make sense. And
that's something I really like push people to do. Even if you're just Muslim and you're born into Muslim, you believe it, but you've never really dived into it yourself. If you just research the Quran itself, because that is our miracle, that's what was left for us. Every prophet, peace be upon all of them, was given a miracle that they could do in front of their what's called ummah, their people, their time. The one that was given to the Prophet ﷺ was the Quran, because it's everlasting, it's here forever, everyone's going to see it. You look at this is the miracle, this is the proof. So for us, it was, once you have 100% belief that this couldn't have come from anyone other than God, it doesn't even matter what it says in it. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Obviously for us it's amazing, it's beautiful, but it doesn't even matter, because I'm 100% certain it's come from God, and it couldn't have come from anyone else. Another
thing I was going to say is, if you do struggle with like, because we discussed us two about how when you read, there's 2 types of people when reading. Like, there's the people who see it in their brain and they can like visualize it, and then there's a person who just sees words. So reading the Quran, obviously, I can't read Arabic, so I'll read like the English version, the English translation, and like it can be a bit confusing. But I'd say like don't be overwhelmed by it. Even if you focus on, in 2 weeks I'm going to just focus on these 2 pages and what they mean and what this means. Speaking of which, sorry, this is kind of irrelevant, right? But I don't know if you know this. I hope they don't watch this, but even if they do, I don't care. You know, like a year ago, not a year ago, I was married a year ago. Like recently.
You sure?
Recently, I had one of our aunties in Morocco call me and like, can I speak to you? And I was like, yeah. She was like, my son, like, he finds you beautiful. Like, he wants to get married. I'd never said this story, yeah. And I'm like, no. The thing is, though, I don't want to be like, are you dumb? Like, so I'm like, no, sorry.
Imagine you saying that. How would you say it in Darija?
You know what I mean? I don't want to go off on her and be like, are you, you get it? I said to her, no, sorry, you know, I didn't want to. So I had to reject my cousin, basically. I was like, no, sorry, like, I'm not really looking to get married, da, da, da. And then also, then he had my number and was messaging me.
He was like, come on, man, give me a chance.
Yeah, she must have given him my number. He was like sending me messages and stuff like.
Oh, that's jokes. I want to know who.
But in what world, I'll show you the photos, but in what world, and the thing is that, no, they're like distant cousins. They're not like
we don't even know them.
Oh yeah, what the hell?
Okay, I thought, like, in my head I was like trying to call about it, but in my head I'm like, oh my god, it's like a first cousin.
No, it's not a first cousin. It's like a second cousin or like an auntie's son. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in my head, like, what? Do you know what I mean? But I had to like decline very nicely. I was like, no, like, oh, I'm so like, I would, but you know,
I'm just tied up at the moment.
No, I think I must have said something like, oh, they've made it really difficult to bring your husbands here, so I blamed it on that.
Like, I want to, but it's just I can't live on my own for that long.
Yeah, no, that's what I've done, but I've never told anyone that.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah.
I remember when they had this thing of like whenever we were kids in Morocco, they used to be like, oh, that's your future wife. It used to be like my cousin that we're just used to like being kids around. And I'm like, no.
Okay, speaking of which, yeah. Okay.
Why did I just say it like that? That was so free.
You're like, no. Okay, speaking of which, and I don't know if I should be exposing this, right?
Oh my God, you're exposing everyone today.
Oh, Lips, my cousin. I'm joking. Stuff.
Oh my God. Right.
I'm joking. Sorry, guys. The inappropriate jokes just came out. How long have we been filming?
35 minutes.
Okay, so we'll have our thing and start on the next thing in a second. But what I was going to say... Oh, fuck. What was I going to say? It was so interesting.
We're talking about cousins?
Oh, my...
Come on.
Hey,
Bring
it was so interesting.
We're talking about cousins. We made a joke about... I was like, no.
But what did you say right before that?
I said it was fruity.
No, before that.
Oh, when we were younger and we had our cousins and they were just telling us that we can get married to them and stuff like that.
It left my brain.
And they used to be like, oh, yeah, that's the one you're going to marry, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it left my brain. And it was so interesting.
Oh, that's annoying me.
Sorry.
If you're annoyed in the comments, tell us.
Hey, but it's so interesting. And you know what's tapped? It looks like I fancied my cousin.
Yeah, you saw my reaction when I said you lips to him, and I was like, "What the hell?" And you're like, "Oh no, maybe I can't say that. I regret saying it."
No. It was so interesting.
Oh, yeah, we ain't got all day.
My brain. Sorry, guys. I bet it will come to me like in like 20 minutes.
We're gonna be talking about something else, and you'll be like, "That's it." That always happens, though. It's so annoying.
We want to get into the next part of the episode, which is actually our first true crime segment.
I'll be honest, I have no idea how we format this.
I think we will like slowly, as we start to do it, because I'd say like we do it at least once a month.
Yeah.
Because I'm like heavily into true crime, and I'm sure like a lot of you guys are as well. And I feel like as we go along, we'll figure out the structure and how we're going to do it. But I'd say just go with the flow. We've got a story that we want to cover, which is the Chris Watts case. If you're not familiar with it, we're just going to kind of go through everything. You've kind of got what you've got, and I've kind of got what I've got.
Yeah, I feel like we were amateurs, like.
Yeah, we both bought our iPads today. Oh, look.
It's cool. Oh, my
Black
God.
and white.
Ah,
We've got like the same
that.
exact case. Cute.
No,
Why are you copying me?
Mine's the nice one from Apple. Yours is like got a case around it. Mine's magnetic.
Okay, sorry. Anyway. Right here, because I've got a news article. It says, from a happy pregnancy announcement to a shallow grave, the full timeline of the Chris Watts murder case. So in November 19th, in November 19th, 2018, I didn't even realize it was 2018 before I started it.
Can you read?
Chris Watts received 3 consecutive life sentences for the deaths of his pregnant wife, Shannon Watts, and their daughters, Bella, 4, and Celeste, 3. So what he had done essentially is murdered his wife and his 2 children, who were basically toddlers. And we're gonna kind of just run through it and, you know, show some of the photos. It's a very devastating and sad story. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
I'll be honest, I like kind of heard of the story, but like bits and bobs, and then I watched like the full documentary thing about it, and I was just shocked. It like put fear in me, because then I realized like how the most normal person in the world can just do something ridiculous.
And like, also his neighbors or his co-workers or his friends and family, like, you would never think or suspect anything. So who around us is capable of doing those sorts of things?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like you have some notes here.
I have some things that I've said. Shall I do an overview of what basically happened?
Yeah.
So I'll run you down on how things. We'll do a quick overview on how things happened.
Yeah.
And then we'll
go into the details. Yeah.
So basically, one day a neighbor noticed that her friend hadn't been in contact with her for a while. So this is Chris Watts' wife. And I think it wasn't even that long. Probably in a day's period or something like that. That's what's crazy about the story, is that people were on it straight away. It wasn't a week of her missing. She's someone who was quite active on like posting about her day and what she's doing
on Facebook,
always on her phone. She worked at home, so her friend noticed immediately that something was off. She's not answering, and she dealt with some type of low blood sugar. So initially her neighbors were worried because her car was still at home, and when they looked through the door, they could see the shoes were still there and stuff. So they thought maybe she's passed out and the kids are upstairs with her.
So they done a welfare check.
Yeah, they done a welfare check. They called the police, and then the police turned up to the space. When they called the husband, he said no. She said she's gone to see some friends, and eventually the husband gets home. The police are there checking the place and everything, and they end up going through. Okay, she's missing. They don't understand what's happened. It become more of a serious case because like there's no evidence of her packing her stuff and leaving.
Yeah.
Like the house looks perfectly how it normally would. Her phone's on the table with her bag and all that stuff. Yeah. There's no like, even if you go to the store, you would take stuff with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Your bag, your purse.
Yeah, so it's instantly become something that's quite serious. Like now, okay, either someone's been kidnapped or like what's happened.
So why did he not report them missing himself?
So what was crazy to me, Nisrin, was normally, like when someone commits a crime like this,
they tried to cover it up.
Not just that. You would think when someone commits a crime and they've killed someone that's close to them, that lives with them, they would get at least, like you commit the crime, you imagine that you'd get like a week to like, before people become suspicious or anything like that. Like, oh, okay, you prepare yourself. What am I going to say? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
This man killed his wife and his kids. Literally, the day, like, just killed them. Now he's taking them to bury them. The moment he gets back home, he hasn't even had the chance to think of what he's going to do. Police are at his door asking where everyone is.
Oh, was it when he got back to the police?
Yeah, it was instantly. Like when he got back, in the sense of, I think after he did that, he went to work and then came back.
Yeah.
It was instant. He didn't get a chance of like a week to hide or cover anything up.
Yeah.
The moment, imagine you just commit a crime and you walk out the door and the police are there saying, what have you just done?
That makes sense as to why her phone and stuff, and he had
he didn't get to cover up.
Yeah,
he didn't
pack her stuff.
Yeah, he didn't get to think of a story. What was she doing? How was she going?
Yeah.
And this is what's crazy about this story, is that the police all have like CCTV footage and camera, which to me is so crazy because you literally see him in the moments of like, I didn't even get a chance to breathe. I've just got home and now I have to like lie on the spot and figure out what to say.
What's interesting to me, and it's like a lot of true crime cases, they have this, the prime suspect, I don't know why, I think they think if they go and do a live interview, they will be less suspicious.
That's what messed him up. That's actually what messed him up.
And I will say why, because I will react to it. I've got the footage, but carry on.
Sorry. So anyway, he gets home, the police are searching the place, and it's scary because you watch the police cam footage and you can just see that he doesn't seem like someone that's that concerned. Do you know what I mean?
He just don't really care.
Yeah. It seemed like he was so, like, I'm not really bothered.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, well, they said they were just going to go, like, he's trying to play it down a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I felt like he just didn't have the acting capabilities to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but not just that. He was so unbothered. Like, he had just murdered his family and he was so unbothered. And I don't think I've really seen someone have such little remorse. After doing something. Like, it seemed like he didn't even have anxiety when he was doing his interview. He was just kind of like, we will watch it, but it's actually insane. I
think that's what's scary about it, is that they, like, from the outside looking in, and even in, to be honest, it was one of them homes that's like, they had a really nice home, like big, nice house, good jobs. They both had 2 beautiful children. The woman was actually pregnant as well with a son. And like, they were living
she would post
a happy life.
Yeah, she would post on Facebook like their pregnancy announcement. She posted like his reaction. She'd post like photos of the happy family together. She'd always write captions and statuses about how much she loves her family, and she'd update. She was like a Facebook mum.
I think that's what scared me, is that they were showing clips of like when he found out that she's pregnant with a boy, and like he was like crying, like, another one, we've done it. Like, and I'm like, how can you be so happily in love and cry for these emotions and be like this, and then all of a sudden kill your wife, which is so scary. But yeah, so then during this process, obviously they start looking for his wife and they're wondering what's going on. This all happens so quickly, by the way, guys. Within like the first 30 hours. I feel like we should not
explain like too much now, because I feel like we've given a rundown of that. Oh no, have we said that he? Sorry, explain the next one.
It's not a mystery necessarily. We don't get to the end and be like, we'll get.
No, but I mean, like, I don't want to explain too much now because we're about to go into the details.
Yeah. So no, the next step is this: the next door neighbor has a camera, CCTV. Yeah. That's pointing. Say, Chris's house is here. They're the next door neighbor, and the CCTV is pointing at an angle where it can catch the neighbor's drive and their drive next door, and it's crazy because they go to watch the footage. He invites them over. He knows them. They're like close neighbors. They're quite friendly. And he invites a police officer over and Chris over. And they're like, okay, let's watch this footage. And what's crazy, in the footage, you see Chris come out of his house. And luckily the cars are like blocking everything. So all you see is him walking past his car, but he's in and out. At 5 a.m. Obviously going back and forth, putting stuff in the car, putting like the bodies and all that kind of stuff. But for him, he's saying it's work stuff, like I'm grabbing tools, putting stuff in, blah, blah, blah. But what's crazy is that the police officer's got a cam, and we can watch that moment.
Yeah, the moment that he realizes that he's showing the footage to the officers.
Yeah, and when the neighbor's showing the footage to the officers, so they're in the neighbor's house watching it on the TV, and you can see on the cam, Chris is like this. He's not even looking. Like, you would think, if my wife has gone missing and you're innocent, you'd be watching that CCTV footage like, oh my God, we need to find out what's there. He was looking up and down. He didn't want to look at the TV. It was so obvious. He didn't want to look at the TV. And every time something would happen, he'd explain himself like he's already trying to like defend himself.
Yeah.
Oh no, here I was just grabbing this. Oh no, I was grabbing this because, I've got this. And what's crazy is, he then leaves after being so suspicious, and when he leaves, it's just the officer and the neighbor left together, and the neighbor straight away goes, he's acting weird. Like, for him, he's concerned straight away, and there's footage of him going to the police officer. He's acting off. That's really weird.
I didn't watch that part of the...
He got suspicious straight away. As soon as he saw how he was acting, he was like, nah, something's off.
Real quick. No.
That's why, because I saw some footage, and it was like the moment Chris Watts realised that he's been caught.
Yeah.
But I was watching it, and it was kind of like I didn't understand it, so I didn't continue watching it. But we should watch it as well together.
Yeah.
Just a side note, some people may find the details in this story disturbing. So this is a trigger warning. If you guys, it's a bit too far, we've already far in. But if this is like something that might trigger you or you don't want to hear, then just put it on mute and continue watching us, because we need the views. So what is wrong with me? On August 13th, 2018, missing person posters were showing the faces of pregnant Shannon Watts and her 2 daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celise, after they suddenly disappeared from their home in Colorado. At first, Watts' husband, Chris Watts, agreed to TV interviews where he appeared torn up over their disappearance and begged for their safe returns. 2 days later, he was arrested in connection with their deaths.
I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad. Bella was going to start kindergarten next Monday.
That's one of the big tells that got him caught out.
Yeah.
Is even in a lot of interviews that he had with the detectives in the room, they showed him a picture of like his family, and he was like, oh, she was this, she was that, talking about them in the past tense.
Yeah.
Like you've already accepted, like they're just missing.
But the
you've
thing is that
like, in your head,
everyone knows that that's the main thing you do not do, because you don't, I'm like, guys, you know.
Like,
no, but I mean, like, everyone knows that that's the thing that gets everyone caught when they're doing interviews, is speaking about them in the past tense, was going to do this. You'd be like, she's going...
So he clearly knows something that we don't know.
If she was just missing, because you'd have hope, right? You'd be like, she's going to start it next week, so she needs to hurry up and come home.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, she was going to, and stuff like that. What a silly man.
No, it's not silly.
No, for doing what he done.
Yeah. I thought you meant like he should have done a better job.
Oh my gosh, no. So, yeah, on social media, the couple seemed like they had a perfect marriage. Astaghfirullah, sorry, I was about to burp. But Chris, by the way, I realised that I pronounced her name wrong. It's not Shannon, it's Shanann. But Chris had been secretly seeing a co-worker telling her that he and his wife were in the process of separating. So we have like a bit of a motive now. If you guys don't already know, like he was seeing someone, basically his co-worker. Over the summer, Shanann noticed that Chris was growing increasingly distant and desperately tried to save their relationship. When she returned from a business trip on the morning of August 13th, 2018, she and Chris got into a fight, which ended with Shanann, who was 18 weeks pregnant, being strangled and their 2 daughters smothered to death. It's so sad to see the videos and stuff of them. Like even here, there's a video of one of his daughters singing about how much she loves her dad.
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He helped me snuggle too. He reads me books.
That is so sad. It's sad because when you know how he did murder them and where he buried them, it's so sad.
I think it's hard to even like. It feels like a movie. It doesn't feel like something that's real.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. It does feel like it's just a movie, like it's not a real thing, but it really happened. And I feel like when you realize that that's an actual thing, like this beautiful little girl, Allahumma barik, is literally singing, calling her dad her hero. And I think as well, he did say her last words, which we'll get onto later, and what she said to him right before he had murdered her. But yeah, that's very sad. There's also text messages, and these are text messages from Shanann to her friend, and she's just basically talking about how she's got problems with her husband, which is sad because I bet when she was sending these messages, she didn't think in her head it would later be used in an investigation. It's normal stuff that you do, like, oh, my husband's this and that. And she's basically saying that he has changed. I don't know who he is. He hasn't touched me all week, kissed me, talked to me. And then she's like, what's happened to my marriage, basically.
That's sad.
I know, it is sad. And she also speaks to her friend about how he went to her ultrasound of her because she was pregnant, and then he decided to cancel the baby gender reveal party, and he was just being very cold of her.
Because what's mad about this stuff is that you can pick this stuff up straight away, because you know when you're with someone and the love they give you, if they suddenly all of a sudden stop, that's such a big thing. It can be and sometimes it can be the smallest thing. If you're used to someone doing something every time, it could be a little tap on the shoulder when they come up to you. Let's say you're like washing up and you're used to them just coming up to you and like putting their hand over you or giving you a hug. That thing is small, but as soon as it stops, something's up. What's going on? Like, why are you not doing that anymore?
We spoke about this earlier, but I feel like especially for overthinkers, that's like really not good. That's why it's good to be with someone that can communicate. If you're an overthinker, you need to be with someone that's good with communication.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, basically that's what's happening on the days and weeks leading up to the event. He's basically spending time with Nicole, his mistress. His wife's kind of confused, like she's pregnant, and he's being distanced with her and stuff like that. So Shanann goes away and for a business trip, and she basically comes back, and later that morning when she did arrive, Chris and Shanann get into an argument when he wakes up for work. According to his testimony, he told investigators that his wife accused him of cheating, and then he snapped and strangled her to death. So the thing is though, I want to explain, you kind of explained from the outside point of view already what he had done, so no one had really known, which is good that we've done that, because now I'm explaining like the actual story of what happened and what he's told people had happened. So according to Chris, the noise of the fight wakes Bella up, and she enters the room and asks what's wrong with mummy. So he's basically said that she's accused him of cheating, and then he strangled her to death. And then his daughter had come in and basically been like, what's happened to mum? And he'd already killed her at this point.
And so the daughter walked in and saw the mum basically laying there dead. And what's happening? Like, what's going on? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's old enough to understand that something's wrong. Maybe not that she's dead, because she wouldn't assume that.
Yeah.
But like,
she heard the
yeah.
the
And
fight.
then walk in and your mum's just laying there. Like,
Yeah.
So Bella, his oldest daughter, walks in, and she's obviously witnessed what's going on after he's just strangled his wife to death, which I don't even know, like, I can't imagine what it'd be like in that moment, because like, did he strangle her with the intention of killing her, or did he strangle her and then she died and you're like, what am I doing right now?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're committed to it now. And not just that, it's like you have a witness. Your
Yeah,
daughter's
yeah,
not even
yeah.
going to be quiet about this.
Yeah,
If suddenly your mom's dead, you basically knew what happened.
Yeah. And the child could just say one thing and it's
over. So he then wraps up the mother in the bed sheet and he takes her to the trunk. Now, the whole time, the daughter's awake and he's kept them alive. Because a lot of people assumed at first, especially the agents that were investigating everything, they assumed that he killed everyone in the house, put them all in the car, drove them to the site and did what he had to do. But he later said the truth of like what he did, and it was,
I am listening, by the way.
he killed the mother, and then the two daughters were basically just watching him bring her, put her in the car, and they both sat in the car alive whilst their mother was like laid out, and he put like a bin bag over her head and her legs so they wouldn't see her face. I think in the trunk, maybe. Like, you know how they have the pickup trucks? I think it was a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Something like that, but the kids could see.
What time, like roughly, was it daytime when
It
he
was like
done
5 a.m.
Oh, okay.
So him getting ready to go to work.
Yeah,
if that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. So
he worked in a oil, like, construction site.
Yeah,
like
so
an oil site.
so that's where he took them to bury them as well. So at 5 a.m, he's put the mother in the car who's dead, and he's got the two children, and they're like awake the whole time, like seeing all this stuff, and they're probably confused, a bit worried what's going on. So then he drives them out to where a site where he works, which is like a massive desert, like field area.
I do have actual photos of that right here. So,
and there's
so
like two massive tanks that are filled with oil and water, and there's just like field and rubble around them, which you can see in the photo. And so what he does is he then takes the mother, and the kids are still like in the car alive, kind of watching this all go down. He takes the mother, buries her. And he didn't even, like, you know how when normally you'd bury someone, it would be like you put them in nicely. The detectives that found her, they said that it was almost like she was just kind of thrown in.
This was where she was buried, here and here. So
which is crazy, to be honest. And then he goes back into the car and he grabs his youngest daughter and he like grabs her whole mouth and everything and like suffocates her, and then she passes. And I think actually what he did was, he then went to the first tank, which is the oil tank, and threw her in it whilst the oldest daughter was witnessing all of this.
Really?
Yeah, so he didn't kill them both and then go do that. He killed the first one, went up the tank.
By the way, guys, we could be wrong on some details. Like, this is our first true crime thing, so some details.
But I'm going through, like, this is like it was quite an important part of this
fresh,
thing because I researched it recently as well. And the thing is, what's sad about these tanks is they're huge, they're filled with water and oil, but the hole to put them in is like 10 inches.
I have a photo right here.
It's like, it's tiny.
This is a photo of how big the hole is. So he would have had to squish their bodies through this hole, and then here is the tanks.
Because they weren't sure at first when they went to find them. They're like, is they really in this tank? But then they found hair and stuff like that, like on the edges of the tank where it like scraped off, which is sad. So yeah, he then threw the first child into the tank and then went back to do the same to his second child, which is the oldest. But she resisted a bit more and was fighting, and she was the one that was screaming, "Daddy, no." It's kind of like, doesn't feel right kind of talking about it. How do you do like a true crime? Because it feels weird talking about it like it's normal.
Yeah, I know. It's so sad. But to be honest, this is like you're explaining the story, bringing it awareness and things like that. So it is something that is going on, and it's real life stuff, and it's hard to believe, but it's just reality, and it's so sad. But all we can do is just like hope and, you know, pray for everyone that's struggling and their family.
So yeah, then he does that, and so now the mother is buried outside a little bit further away from the tanks, and the two daughters are in the tanks.
Yeah, he puts them in.
And then he just kind of just threw the bed sheet, which, like, this is how you know it was all like, I don't think this was something that was planned. It wasn't like, maybe he had anger in his mind before, but the way everything went down, it wasn't organized. I don't think he sat and like for weeks planned how he's gonna do it.
Yeah,
it's like spur of the moment, killed them, and now how can I like get rid of everything? So then he drives home, and this is what's crazy is obviously after he's done that, normally people commit a crime like that, and then they get to go back and then like try to figure out how they're gonna get away with this. Imagine you go home and then straight away there's police with your neighbours wondering where everyone is and if everyone's okay, and then we go back into what I was saying at the start obviously he goes to his next door neighbor. They have CCTV. They then bring him into the police station, and he speaks to the detectives. And you see all the footage where he's sitting and he's talking. I think the problem is he's not like great at acting. Like he cares. Like you'd think that he'd be like, "Where am I? I need to find them." It was always like he didn't even really get involved with the investigation.
But that's why it's scary as well, because if it wasn't planned and he done it spur of the moment, then he should, in those moments, be feeling the most...
Freaking out.
Yeah, exactly. But he's not. And he's
it just looked like he was like, oh, crap, like it's about me.
Yeah, exactly. Which is something that if you've planned something and thought about it, you've gone through those emotions that you're going to have, you've gone through what's going to happen, and that's when you would be more chilled. But he's not.
And he didn't really like they were just confused. They were like, well, he doesn't really care about the investigation. Whereas normally someone would be like, calling the police, have you heard anything? What's going on? He just kind of let them do what they do. And it was like...
hoping he don't get caught.
Yeah. And then eventually they bring him in, and they're doing interview talks with him and stuff like that. And they do a polygram. Now, a polygram is a lie detecting test.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're because I also always think, how is that even 100%? Like, how can you do that? But they're very well trusted. It can't be enough, obviously, because it can't be 100% enough to actually like now arrest you on them charges. But it's enough, for example, if you fail it, for them to now you become a suspect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he did a polygram test where they asked him if he had anything to do with it, if he knows what's going on, and for you to like pass it, you'd have to get a score of like 4 and above.
Yeah.
And then to fail it, normally they can be at like an 8 or like something, but he got like 18, meaning that he failed every single question they asked him.
Really?
Yes. And what's crazy is that she was saying to him beforehand in the footage, she was like, she was trying to like, because she got a bit suspicious, but she has to act like you're not a suspect, we're all good. And she was like, yeah, because if you did anything, it would be crazy to be here doing this. Like it was like, because obviously they have a way of like where it works, detectives. So to me, that's crazy. There must be some type of training, because you have to sit and understand and say the right things to not push them away. Obviously, as well in America, because they're not arresting you. They haven't got any proof of anything. He could get up and leave at any moment.
Yeah.
Or he could say, I want my lawyer. And then that's it. They can't even question nothing.
Yeah.
But they had to like work around them and be nice.
Yeah.
And like make him feel comfortable so that he wouldn't get to that state.
But in his head, he's not going to sit and say, I want a lawyer, no comment, because then he looks suspicious.
Straight
so
away.
A lot of mistakes that criminals do is they're like, no, I'll do this interview, that's fine. Because even in your head, you think, if I say no comment, I want a lawyer, you look guilty.
Yeah, I'd rather say I want a lawyer, even if I
but he's like, why would I ever do that?
Yeah.
Like,
he's trying his hardest to look like it's okay.
Yeah.
And then she was even there, like, if you fail, like, we're going to know the truth. Like, after this, and even before he did the test, she was like, we're going to know the truth now. And he was like, yep. Like, he must have been like,
stressing.
Yeah. And then he ended up failing it, and they come in and like, okay. And they could, obviously they're like saying like, what's going on? Like, tell us the truth. Like, blah, blah, blah. And they're trying to get it out of him in a nice way. And then they say to him, okay, he goes, I want to speak to my dad. And they were like, because his dad just flew in. And so they bring his dad in. They're like, okay, we're going to let you speak to your dad. I think you should tell him the truth or what's happening and what's going on. Like, speak to your dad, tell him. So they get him comfortable, and they like make him want to open up to his dad. So they let the dad come in the room. They leave. Obviously, they've got hidden cameras in, like, the room.
I think should we show that?
Yeah, show it if you've got it.
She heard him? Yeah. And well, no, I heard her. You're a girl. You want? You smell it? Or choking? No. She freaked out over the separation of everything. I heard like a little commotion upstairs, but I didn't think anything of it. Mm-hmm. And then we went back upstairs, and she was never. I can see like she was not. Choking her. Or,
you know what I don't get is a lot of people do this in interview rooms with their parents and stuff, but do they not know that it's being filmed? Does he know it's being filmed?
I thought it was a hidden camera or something, but you would assume there's a camera or something.
You would never. Do you know what I mean?
It gets confusing.
So maybe he wants to confess.
Yeah.
Or he realizes.
He later tells, when they walk back in, he tells them as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think he just accepted.
Yeah.
And he wanted to tell his dad first. Imagine like being the dad as well. That's what's scary. And obviously you want to believe him. Yeah. But then he just had confirmation that everyone was dead.
Yeah. Oh no, that he was the first person to have the confirmation.
Yeah.
They hadn't found their bodies, had they?
No, they haven't. They didn't find the bodies until he told them where they were.
Until he told them. Yeah. Okay.
And so then they come back in, and they have to sit there. They're with him for hours trying to convince him, and they have to keep still being kind of nice to figure out where the bodies are. Because as soon as you then villainize, I keep going to that word and I can't even say it.
Yeah,
but as soon as you try you show some type of hostility to them, they then might back off and not want to say things. Do you know what I mean? So they had to like, which is traumatizing for them because they're in hopes. That's what they're working. They're working on this case and they're in hopes that everyone's safe and they get to bring them back.
Yeah.
But they've now, watching in the screen behind, found out that no, they're gone. They're all gone.
Yeah. Oh, that's
like
sad.
that. Working on that case must traumatize you, and now you have to figure out what the body is and not look at this person who has now become a monster in your eyes. Like, and you have to go there and still be kind of nice.
Yeah, be professional. And when in your
and
head
not just go
you're
rage
thinking,
and be like, what the hell have you done?
Yeah, you're disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That must be a really hard job. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, a lot of the detectives saying that she got home after the case and everything, just like broke down crying, like, because you got to witness that, and then they saw the bodies of the children and everything. Like, the jobs people have to do are crazy, man. I can't lie. But yeah, so he basically, a lot of the things was all about like the mindset. Like, they have to analyze the smallest things, words that he's saying, these things that you might not even catch on really if you don't really pay attention.
Yeah.
But like him saying, oh, she used to, and she loved this, and she was gonna do this.
Yeah.
That's such a big tell, which is scary, and that's basically how he got caught out. Eventually admitted to everything, and he pleaded guilty to everything, but on the fact that he said, I'll plead guilty, but only to save me from the death penalty.
Oh.
Because he didn't want the death penalty.
Okay.
But the guy said, But
you have proof of you saying you done it.
Yeah. But he's saying, I'll plead guilty, because what could happen is it could become a whole case.
Yeah.
As soon as you plead guilty, you said you done it. Okay, now we don't have to go into this whole investigation.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, then it could be years of a case where he's in and out of court whilst he's in prison, and they're trying to, like, do you know what I mean? It takes a long time.
Yeah.
But he just said, I'll plead guilty.
But it was years as well, because it's 2018 when this case happened. And I'm pretty sure that like recently it was when the court case
I don't know.
was. I could be wrong.
I think it happened quite quick. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he pleaded guilty so that he wouldn't get the death penalty. But then the person that was in charge of that said, I'll let the family decide of the wife what they wanted to do, and they said, we're not in control of taking someone's life. We don't want to do that, basically. So they sentenced him to 3 life sentences and like 84 years plus on top of that.
Yeah.
Which always confused me. Yeah, I used to always think, because I used to hear people getting a sentence of 300 years and that, and I'm like, why are you giving them a long sentence when they're gonna die? But I think the purpose is to show the magnitude of the crime. Yeah. So it's almost like doing the people justice. You got 3 life sentences for the people that you've basically killed, in a sense. Exactly. And on top, it's like to show the magnitude, because we could say, oh, you're going to be here until you die, but showing them that this is the reason you've done this.
Yeah, and for each person, it's like...
it's like almost giving them their due respect and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same with me. I used to think that as well. But while he was in jail, which was the crazy part, is he had a pen pal. So... Did you watch this in the documentary? No. Yeah, he was writing basically letters, and I think that there's something called like Confessions of a Killer, where he spoke about his daughter's last words, and the woman actually came forward later on and gave more details to the police about what he had written to her. And I think the crazy thing for me is, I'm not saying that this woman done this, but you know, like when serial killers and stuff go to jail, they get like fan mail and stuff, you know, like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy. They get like fan mail and people sending them money and letters and things like that, which absolutely blows my mind. People are weird. I genuinely do not understand how or why. Like, I get why this woman maybe spoke to him and stuff like that, but the people that are doing it out of like glorifying them is a bit weird.
I think there's people in this world that want to do stuff like that but don't have the guts to do it. So then they idolize people that have done it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Also, like, I was having this conversation with my wife, and we, like, if you can kill, don't you have to be a little bit messed up in the head to kill anyway?
Yeah, of course.
So then why doesn't that go into the act of like mentally unwell? Because you have to be crazy to kill. You can't just... There has to be something wrong with you.
I think that's subjective, because it depends why you're killing. If you're killing to protect someone, your home... Do you get it?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying a case like this.
You mean a case like this?
He has to be mentally...
Yeah, your brain is... You lack... You don't have the empathy, and maybe your like frontal cortex. You know, like they've done like frontal lobe cortex. I don't know what it is, but you know they've done like studies on brains that have murdered and things like that. And there's like this little, the empathy side of it is kind of low. And I don't know if you know this, but if you've done an ancestry test, you can also check for these things. Well, it will tell you what percentage of empathy your genes show you have.
What percent of a murderer I'm going to be.
No. It will show like the empathy of what it's not obviously accurate because everyone's different, but it tells you like the level, whether you're high or low.
Makes sense.
And I think you definitely have to be mentally unwell to be able to do something like that. But I don't think that should change your sentence in any way, obviously. Or
I think what was scary to me mainly with this case was seeing how like normal he looked. He literally looked like a few people that I know. He looks such like a normal. A lot of the times you think of like these murderers and you think of like these people that are like pushed away from society. Maybe they're not good social skills and it's a bit scary.
Yeah.
But to see him look like so normal and to see them look like such a normal family that have probably had it better than most people in this world because they lived in such a luxurious house. Obviously, money's not everything, but they had comfort.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
They didn't have to worry about financial burdens and stuff like that. She was focusing on raising her children, having children,
working from home and enjoying herself.
Working from home, exactly. Just being like a mum, basically, and like part of a community and updating her friends and family. And what's interesting is, this is another little fact, he had a YouTube channel, and he has a YouTube channel that's got 1,000 subscribers, and his only video is a video that's talking about saving failing relationships, and it's still on YouTube now. Do you not find that absolutely insane? Overall, it is a very, very, very sad and devastating story, and we're sending prayers to the family of the victims. And yeah, it's a very sad case, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that was really sad. It's sad to end the episode on this note.
Yeah, it's a bit of a downer.
Yeah, downer, because we usually
also, I hope we did it right. I feel like we're a bit all over the place.
So I was going to say, guys, we love when you guys give us constructive criticism. Like, you guys tell us what to change. And I don't know if you noticed, but we do take it on board a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So if you could tell us how we could change this so that the next episode is good for you guys.
Like this segment of like the true crime. Like, let us know how you want us to format it, what you liked, what you didn't like, and then inshallah we can like. And
also maybe comment down below some cases that you want us to cover. Let us know if you even like this. Maybe you don't like the way we discuss it, or we're missing out details. Just let us know everything you think we should change and what you liked, please, because we really will take it on board. But yeah.
Okay. That's it for this week.
I know. I feel like we're kind of like, we can't be in like a...
Yeah, I know. But I am happy to be back as well, guys. And we've actually missed you a lot. I've always got like major anxiety when we're not posting and stuff like that. So like even me coming back, I feel
relief,
better, and like weights lifted off my chest, and we're connected again. So inshallah, you lot are here to support us and join us. And we apologize for not being as consistent as we once was. But yeah, inshallah, we'll see you on the next one. Nishan, where can I find you?
You can find me smiling on my pillow. You can find me at It's Nisrin on Instagram and TikTok.
You can find me at Kaylo Kasha on all social media platforms. Don't forget to follow us at Relatable Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. Guys, we love you lot so much. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And for today's episode, the word of the episode is...
mango.
We've done mango before.
Oh.
The word of the episode is...
shoe.
No.
Wow, AYOUB always picks the word.
I'm picking the word. Today's word is starship.
Starship?
Yeah, just something like...
random.
Yeah, like they can't even accidentally come across it.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
if you've watched this episode...
If you made it right to the end, shout out to you. May Allah bless you
Amen.
and your family and your loved ones, everyone, and all of our subscribers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Starship. And if you're going to type starship, then you might as well press the like button and share the video and subscribe and do all that good stuff. But yeah, don't forget to check us out on all our other social media platforms. We're all doing great things. And yeah, we'll see you lot next week. Love you lot so much. Peace.
Bye.